There's no way that this scenario would work without Mr. Efron knowing in advance that this shooting is going to happen and that he's going to need cartridge cases to plant at the scene. Under the defense scenario, too, he would not have time to get those cartridge cases any other way. He has a limited amount of time at 10 p.m., just after 10 p.m. on a Saturday, to leave the scene where the shooting happens, go find a gun, fire it off 2 times. The gun he's going to find also is going to be a Glock 43, so not any gun, but that specific gun. And he's going to fire it off multiple times, and then he's going to go back to the scene. I guess, by 11:10, when that person in the white shirt, so he changed his clothes. He's going to go back and he's going to plant those cartridge cases at the scene. He would not have enough time to possibly do that. So second point to consider, how it doesn't make any sense that Mr. Efron planted these, is that, as I pointed out, Mr. Efron told literally everyone who would listen, including Wally on those tapes, that the defendant fired more than 2 shots at him. Now, you all, I'm sure, can appreciate how stressful this situation would have been for Mr. Efron, and that as the defendant's firing at him, he's not sitting there counting exactly how many shots. So as he's telling the police how many shots were fired at him, he's doing his best to recall a stressful situation, and he genuinely believes 3 or 4 shots are fired at him. That's his sincere belief. That's what he tells the police. If he is going to plant those cartridge cases, though, and come up with the crazy scenario that I told you, he intuits the shooting's going to happen, he gets these cartridge cases in advance so he can come back and plant them at the scene, wouldn't you reasonably expect Mr. Efron to tell the police the defendant only fired at him 2 times? Wouldn't that be your reasonable explanation? If he's making this up, he planted these cartridges and he's making up how many shots were fired at him, wouldn't you expect him to walk into the police and say, no, it was only 2 shots?
Whether their so-called victim, Tyrell Efron, had access to 9mm shell casings just a few weeks before defense were found 2 9mm shell casings in Los Angeles? Yes, he did, in the same city. He had access in the same city. This evidence, ask yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, did Relly first lie to you about going to a shooting range where he had access to 9mm shell casings, and then lie to you again about having access to those 9mm shell casings here in Los Angeles? I mean, why would he do that? Why would he lie about those 2 things? There'd be no reason for him to lie about that unless it was to cover up something about those 9mm shell casings he claims he recovered. No reason to lie about that. You know exactly what happened, why he lied about it. As the police found when they got there was no shell casings there because he had a prop gun. He had a prop gun, as unimpeached witnesses told you. And he claims that he got these shell casings from the scene an hour and whatever later, a half later. And then he held them for 2 days, gave them to the police 2 days later when his extortion defense failed. One thing's clear, the prosecution has not proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Relly did not get those shell casings from somewhere other than the scene. They did not prove that beyond a reasonable doubt.